What's up, everybody? My name's Wes, and I'm going to be telling you all a little bit about my story. Before I met Jesus and became a Christian, the word I'd use to describe my life is striving. The reason I would say this is because I grew up in a Christian home, and I knew all the right answers. Like, to everybody else that knew me, they would have said that I was a Christian. But in my heart, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was necessarily true. Even though I knew the things I did and why I was supposed to do them because it's what the Bible said or it's what I learned in church, just my heart wasn't in the right position with it. Uh, I lived a lot of my faith through my parents and through my one of my best friends and through my church. So anytime I had problems or had issues, I would turn to them instead of turning to Jesus. And living this life just led to unfulfillment. Essentially, it led to me being very spiritually dry, just not joyful. Being a Christian was more of a burden than it was a joy. And I lived this way and continued in this until about my sophomore year of college, when my best friend ended up getting married. During this time, uh, God was essentially stripping away all of what I called my spiritual crutches, or it's just everything that I leaned on instead of my Bible and instead of Jesus. God took all those things away. My best friend got married. Another one of my friends that I leaned on heavily, he transferred schools. Um, and then just a variety of things. Obviously, at this point, I was moved out of my house, and so after this, when all this happened, God just essentially brought me to a point where it was, I'm either going to follow Him on my own, or I'm going to follow the ways of this world. So I started doing things. I started drinking a lot more. I was playing football in college at this time, so I was hanging out with my football buddies, and I was starting to drink a lot and I was like teetering on the edge of diving into the party scene. When a guy, at this point, though, I was still going to church, and a guy that worked at this church who knew me pretty well sat me down and gave me what I call a man up talk. He said, Wes, you always tell me that you eventually want to be a Christian coach and lead young men spiritually. He's like, well, if you're not doing it now, how are you going to do it later? So this was a big turning point in my life, and this is the point when I would say that I went from striving to being fulfilled in my faith. Uh, God, at this point in my life, I started reading the Bible on my own, really studying Scripture and pursuing a relationship with Jesus on my own. And this led to fulfillment, as I said. It led to me being a more confident person in who I was. Up to this point, because I was leaning on others in my faith, I was not confident in my faith. I was not confident as a leader. I was not confident in relationships. And at this point, when I started pursuing Jesus, I started having more of a joy in my faith. I started enjoying life. I enjoyed reading my Bible. I enjoyed sharing my faith. But most of all, I was confident in who I was, or in who I am now. So, yeah, so that's kind of my story. That's where I was. I was striving. I was striving to do things on my own, and then after I met Jesus on a personal level, my life is now fulfilled, and I'm more confident in who I am. So, thank you for your time.